Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm back here with our 1994 Buick Regal. We've got some maintenance tasks to do to it today, so there'll be 3 videos for this car. The first one is what we're doing right now. We're going to be doing an oil change on this Series 1 3800 in this Regal. It'll be the same for pretty much any W body car of this generation, the Gen 1. I don't know when the oil was changed last on it. I do know it's fairly clean, but that being said, I don't know what's in it and lots of stuff. So let's just get it out of there, put what we know is in there. And I don't know if you can see it, you can't, but if I get in there nice and tight, that white thing right there, that's the oil filter, which that looks like it's a real pain in the butt, to be honest with you. Like the Grand Prix is just a reach in from the wheel well here, and even my Buick, it's on the front, and that one's just, technically it's where the old Buick used to be, but it's just at a weird spot. So we'll see how that goes. So let's get our pans and stuff into the oil pan and take a look. Alrighty, so we're under the car. I initially thought this would be either a 13 or a 15, but it ended up being the closest being a 14. So we'll go ahead and put our wrench on that and release it. We've got our oil pan underneath to catch it all. And it could be on there. I didn't put it on there, so it could be on there super duper tight. There you go.
There we go.
Have you done an oil change before yet, Duncan?
I think so, maybe.
Okay, we'll keep going. Now you can take your wrench off it now, and you should be able to undo it by hand. Now as you're spinning it off, push in. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep the oil from coming out. You got to keep pushing on it. It's going to keep the oil coming out when it actually releases. So if you keep pushing, keep pushing it in, but screwing it off. And then when you think you've got her all unscrewed, then you just quickly pop it away. Try not to drop it, okay?
That's still not good.
No, it's got a little bit of legs on it. Get in there. There's a washer there. I'm getting your way too. You're probably looking good, so just pop it away. Boom, and all that oil. It looks dirty. It always looks dirty. Even new oil, after you run it for just a little bit, looks dirty, right? So now we got all that nasty oil coming out of it here. So we have a paper towel right here. We're gonna go ahead and put that on it for now. Let's look at it actually. What do we have here? It's a fairly clean bolt. So I'm not aware if these have magnets on them or not. It doesn't look like it does, but it's clean, and the pan is not awfully rusted, so that's great. So we're cool there. We'll wipe down the surface when we're done here before we put the bolt back, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we're gonna let that drain into the pan, and now we're gonna go attack the filter. Now the filter is probably gonna be better accessed from above, unfortunately, which is gonna be slightly annoying as well. So we're just gonna go ahead and try to get it from up top, just because I don't see any good access points up into the motor area, even through the suspension, to get it yet. So we're gonna go upstairs and take a look. Ideally I'd take the wheel off, but I'm way too lazy for that. We're gonna try to reach in, like we move the wheel over so we've got some space, and we're gonna reach in and hit it that way. We have our socket. This you can get at most auto parts stores. You can use a wrench too, but this one's built for our filter size, and it's set to off so we know it's the right way. We just have to shoehorn that onto that filter and back it out, and it's gonna spill oil hopefully into the pans that are down below, and we'll go with that. So I'm gonna be quiet so I can edit this right, and we'll have our slave assistant here, our kid, try to get in there and get that off, see how well he does from down below. It's a long reach. It's still a pain. You know how hot that exhaust is. Pretty hot. All right, so here we go. Let's get you off here now. Come on, hero. She's moving. Come on. Keep it up. What a tight filter. My goodness. Who put this on here? All right, there we go.
Yay!
Holy crap. Now let's get this off if we can. Probably can't. Oh, they're too tight. Loosen it up. It all should just drip down into that tray. Is it catching the oil?
It is now.
Perfect.
I scooched it over.
Let's take this thing out. That thing was on there way too tight. My easiest egress. Thinking through here.
Hello there.
And you want to come up here, Duncan, with the camera. So yeah, I'm on the engine, reaching down through here to get access to that, because it was just on there so tight with my ratchet. There's lots of space back here, but yeah, what a pain.
So stupid to get to.
Yeah, we'd get it if it weren't so tight. So that's the filter out. So let's get it out of there and let's start buttoning things up again. So here we go. It's a Luber what? Luber Finner. I've never heard of that brand before. Let's look at it this way. Luber Finer, built to do more.
I'm guessing.
It's a PH 57. It's equivalent to a PF 47, which is the AC Delco equivalent. We are done the oil filter. So we have our bolt here. So here's a paper towel, Chief. Go ahead and grab that nut, bolt, it's a bolt, the oil pan bolt. Clean it up, wipe all the bad oil off it and stuff like that. Make sure that threads look good and all that fun stuff. And while you do that, I'm gonna take our rag here and I'm gonna, where our bolt hole is, I'm going to wipe it clean too. Make sure this mating surface is fairly smooth, of which it's okay. Let me rub it enough. Try not to get dirt in the hole either. But now we're clean-ish. And when we put the bolt back in, we're gonna wipe this whole pan down because I hate oil pans that are. Go ahead and stick that back in the hole. And hand thread it in as far as you'll go.
Alright, where do we go? Right here.
Where the drip is, yep.
Ah! Got it right in my hand. Alright. That's the washer. That's the bolt.
Yep. You got that most of the way. So you grab your wrench here and lightly snug it. I say snug, not tighten, because we're not tightening it. We're just making it snug. That's good, probably. How do you feel? Is it? Yeah, that's plenty.
Okay.
Just snug, just so it makes contact, and then maybe an eighth of a turn more, because it's not structural, it's just holding the oil back in.
Right.
So then we take, do you have a bigger rag than I do? Nope. Take my rag. You wipe all this down because you'll want to look for leaks and things like that, right? So if it's dirty or covered in dirty oil, you're not going to know. But if you make it look nice, and eventually we'll make it look super nice by the time we get the oil change on this a couple times, it'll be good. So that end of it is great. Now we gotta go back to the oil filter and we'll take a look at that. Even though I'm not sponsored by Napa, I wouldn't mind being sponsored by Napa, wink wink. Anyway, so this is our PF47 AC Delco equivalent, which in AC Delco, or I'm sorry, in Napa Gold filters is actually a 1040. But that's not a 1040, it's a 1036. Go ahead, unbox it. People love unboxing on videos, right? It's going to be, you know,
Is it on the other side? Oh, no.
That's fine.
Oh, well.
Popper out. Is it plastic wrap? No, it's in a box.
Whoop.
So this is a 1030. So, holy crap.
That's a little
See,
bit
there's
bigger.
some significant difference here. Number one, that orange you see there, I believe is actually a, oh my goodness, it just ran from an anti-drain back feature of this filter. I don't see it on this thing, so this is just a filter. The biggest thing though is that they are technically the same size this way, but this one is about twice as long, which means it technically has twice as much filter medium in it. and that's what we'd like to have. Plus it's going to have a little bit more oil capacity. No harm in that either. It's also made in the US, so I'm cool with that as well. But everything else is the same on this thing. So the only thing is it's limited to engines that can take the additional space. The Grand Prix runs a big one like this. My wife's Chevy Equinox runs a big one like this. We'll see how this one fits in this car. I think it'll be fine as long as we don't tighten this thing as tight as this one was, because that was stupid tight. And even if we can always, there's another sort of wrench that we can use to get this off the car. It's a slip wrench, I call it. It's this guy here, which I have to use on the Grand Prix because I don't have enough space on the end of it. But this actually slips over the filter, and then you can kind of grab and twist on it that way. That works just as well, so we might have to switch that on this car too. Now, I always like to pre-fill my oil filters as much as I can before putting them in the car. Admittedly, it's only starving the engine for like 1 second of oil before it fills and then moves on. But I own these cars till they die. So the reality is I want it to not die sooner than later. So we're gonna go ahead and at least put a moderate amount, at least if we get it half filled, of oil into this thing. So this is where our helper here, and it's easier to pour it sideways. So if you do it this way,
Really?
yep, it'll be, you don't have as much container to fight with. It comes out quick and it fills up fast. So dust down the center if you can, because that's a valve that's gonna keep you, there you go. Down the center and slow, because this is a 10W30 is what we're using in this car today. Yep, there you go. That's close enough for government work. So we got that done, and he was worried, and this is a great point, getting his ring wet with oil, but if you're anything like him or me or anybody, when you're doing that, you're gonna spill enough to get it everywhere anyway. So, so that filter is ready to go in. What we have to do now though is actually go to the car, and we have to wipe it down where this seal sits. We wanna make sure, well, we already know the ring came out, but we wanna make sure there isn't another one sitting on there from another filter. Sometimes they leave the filter and stay on the block. So we'll check for that, make sure it's nice and smooth, and then we'll hand crank this down until it's hand tight. So let's go do that.
All right, we're going.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out a nice clean way to get this thing in without touching everything, right? I'm gonna set this down there, and obviously I can get to the filter easy enough just by wagging down here with my arms, and I'm gonna use my fingers to kind of feel the seating surface, and yeah, it feels nice, and I'm gonna wipe it down just to make sure everything is clean and there's not little pebbles of dirt that's gonna hurt my little seal there. Everything is fine, it feels good. And I use my paper towel to wipe off any excess oil. Everything else feels okay, so we're good there. But now to get this thing in there. And I wonder if I can, it's too big. I can't come, can I come down this way? Down, past this hard line. And get my arm down there enough to catch the bottom of it. Yep. And there we go. Now I'm gonna just finger this will be, getting it square will be tough. We'll just try to use our fingers and get it started.
Snake arms.
Yeah, she started. So we're gonna hand bring it down till it touches the base. Thing has some legs, that's for sure. Yeah, no, we there yet? Nope. Oh, okay, we just touched now. So we got the touching there, and it looks like we've got clearance all the way around it. Barely. We're a little close to this line here, but I'm not worried about that. But now we do have to tighten it. So I'm gonna do the wrong thing and get back on top of the motor, and we'll cinch it down that way. So hold on one sec. Got my ratchet set for tightening. That's good to know, because sometimes when you're backwards, upside down and stuff, it's kind of easy to forget which way is going in. Stand on the engine, put my knee on the intake manifold, which should be able to take that sort of pressure. Sneak my wrench down through the back here, minding that the exhaust is gonna be hot still, if I can get it in here even. Kind of push it down, and there we go. And yep, this pipe is right in the way. Can you see any of it down there? Okay. So there we're on our filter. Good luck getting this off again, Ben. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and turn it 2.5 3/4 of a turn. There's our 1036 filter brand or model, and we're gonna make it disappear from sight. And that should be good enough. And this is a very nice ratchet. It's got very fine, and between 1/2 and 3/4, I think I said. And that feels about right. So off you come. Whack that off. And we should be good to go. And I'm gonna throw that down, and it's gonna hit the it's gonna hit the steering rack. That's great. And the wrench go? The wrench went. That is stuck down there. Poop.
Oh.
Is it? No, I'll wiggle it from down below.
Get caught on
That's
everything
the
on the way
easiest way. What
down.
a pain in the butt. Ugh. We pulled out our oil pans and got rid of the oil. We're going to recycle that, of course. So underneath the car, we're all set. We've got everything wiped down. It's nice and dry. So now it's time to actually put oil in the car. Easy to do, right? You see that there, and it notice it says SAE 10W30. That's a trade of the 3800 engine. This is 3800 Series 1. So we're using Napa 10W30 conventional motor oil. You can use synthetic, no problem with that. It's expensive. And in these cars, will leak out everywhere. So conventional tends to do fine. And if you want a fun treat, you look down there, you can see the valve springs for the valves and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. We're gonna shoot for 4.5. It's a 5-liter container, which is liters, quarts, pretty close. So we're shooting for about, get it, like the line right there would be fine. So go ahead and pour that much in here. Pour it sideways, tends to go better. And try not to smear it all over the exhaust manifold, because that'll smoke on you. Yeah, just like that way from above, and then just, it's got a nice big opening, you betcha. Yeah.
Forbidden honey.
Yep, so just right to town on that. And then the dog's barking in the background because the sister's coming over with the chickens. You got another 2 quarts to go. Alright, give that a spin. How you doing now?